This is the 2025 GMC Yukon, and in today's Vehicle Visionary video, I'm going to give you several tips and tricks as to some of the features that are here and how to use them. Also, how to troubleshoot one thing that I know several people have asked me about in the past that most likely will continue with this refreshed 25 model. If you are interested in buying this Yukon, this is the AT4 trim level. If you're interested in this model or anything else that they have at Mike Morgan Buick GMC here in Shreveport, Louisiana, check out the link down in the description of the video. One of the changes for 2025 is you no longer have to kick your foot under the bumper for the power tailgate to open. You come back here, you notice I'm not doing anything, I'm not touching anything, and all of a sudden the tailgate is opening. Maybe you heard those beeps, you saw the tail lights flashing, and the tailgate opens right up. Now, two little things to note here. Number one, if you are walking past the rear of the vehicle and that starts to beep, just keep walking. Don't stop and it won't open. However, what do you do if you do want it to open and it won't? I'm going to show you what to do on the interior. There are actually two potential issues in this situation. Number one, the dial that we have right here. You'll notice that it says max, 3/4, and off. If it's set to off, set it to 3/4 or max, and you shouldn't have any trouble with that opening. But you also need to come right here. There's one more very important setting. We're going to go into settings, and then we're going to go up here to vehicle, down here to comfort and convenience, and hands-free exterior storage access. Notice that it's set to off right there. So we're going to select that and make sure it's set to open only, and you're guaranteed that you won't have a problem. On this model, you will find the power assist steps. When you open the front or rear doors, the power assist steps are going to deploy, and obviously when you close them, they will go back under the vehicle. But what do you do if you want to leave those deployed? And we'll go back to settings once again, then to vehicle, but this time we're going to go all the way down here to power assist steps. And you'll notice that you have some different options right here. We need to go to move power assist steps right there. You'll notice that you have stow or deploy. Now, if you use deploy right there, here is what is going to happen. I'm going to hop back out and show you that now when you close the doors and lock the interior, those steps are going to stay deployed, whether you need that for washing the vehicle or maybe potentially avoiding door dings in a parking lot, because if you have somebody sitting next to you that doesn't have a vehicle that's high enough to actually have their door hit your doors, they'll actually hit that step first. When it comes to the instrument cluster or driver's display, you can see that it is possible to have navigation right there in front of you. But what happens if you don't want navigation? Well, you have this button right here on the steering wheel, and you can change what you are seeing on the driver's display depending on what you want, what your personal preference is, what you need to see. You can see that you have multiple options that you can use. And if you're familiar with GM products, these SUVs and the trucks for the last several years, here's something you won't find anymore. The ability to lock and unlock the child safety locks, or should I say activate and deactivate the child safety locks here on the rear doors. That doesn't mean that the child safety locks are not here. It just means the way you operate them has changed. So we're going to come right here now. You can see what I selected right there. And there is child safety locks. Now you'll notice when I select that option that it's all of a sudden highlighted in blue. That means the child safety locks are active, and when we turn that off, it is no longer going to have that blue highlight or blue square around it. And you can turn your blind zone steering assist off and on, as you can see right there. How about adding a universal remote? It's very easy to do. All you do is select add remote and just follow the instructions on the screen. But what's interesting to me is that you can add as many as 8 remotes. Maybe that's something a lot of you have been waiting for. And adjusting your head-up display. Here's where you're going to come to do that. You can see that you can adjust everything from brightness, height, and rotation. And you can also turn it off if you don't want to have that on. Just depends on what your preference is. You'll have Google Assistant here. You'll say, hey, you know who, and you can ask all kinds of questions, give commands. You can set up navigation with voice commands. That's always nice to have. How about your cameras? There are cameras all over this vehicle. Nothing new. that's for sure. But just to run through what is here, you can see how this works. Now, there is one big change for 2025 as far as your cameras go, and that is the fact that for those of you who asked me with the previous couple of generations of the infotainment screen on these Yukons, how to leave that on while you're driving if you need to, tell me the reasons why you might want that. I'm sure some people can have different options for that as far as why they might want to do that. But I've had people ask about that. You can now just leave it on. You just bring them up when you're in drive and it will stay on. If you're curious about your safety features, here's what we're going to have with your collision detection systems. We're going to have forward collision avoidance, front pedestrian braking, intersection collision braking. And by the way, you can go in and change these to alert and brake, alert only, or you can turn it off if you want to. And then you will also have your intersection collision braking, adaptive cruise go notifier, side bicyclist alert, lane change alert, park assist with braking, rear cross traffic braking, and rear pedestrian alert. And as I said, you can go in and change all of those things the way you want to. And depending on what you need to do as far as remote lock, unlock, and start, here is how all of that's going to work. If you're having trouble getting something to work, or depending on what you want to do, you can use these features right here to make sure that everything is on or off that you might want with the vehicle. Pretty simple to use, but I just wanted to show you a few of the very important things that are here. Now, how about your seating position? So here's the thing. Depending on the remote that you have, it can be programmed. You'll program everything for your steering wheel setting, which is power adjustable in this case on the AT4 trim level, where the seat is positioned. So what's going to happen is when you get into the vehicle, if you turn this on, it will automatically go into that position. Everything will set the way you want it, and then it will move back out of the way, so to speak, and make it easier to get out when you get out of the vehicle and get back in. But if you don't want those things on, they don't have to be on, but that is a nice thing to have. To use remote start, you don't have to worry about locking the vehicle. All you have to do, you can see that I've unlocked everything. All you're going to do is hit remote start 2 times. It will lock the vehicle and then start the vehicle. You don't have to worry about locking it yourself to turn it back off with remote start. You just hold the button down like that and the engine shuts right down. If you want your power folding side view mirrors to automatically fold in and unfold when you lock and unlock your Yukon, we're going to go back into the infotainment screen, and that is where you will find the setting to turn that on or off. And once again, we're going to go into settings, vehicle, and then we're going to go down here to comfort and convenience. And right here, you'll see remote mirror folding. Make sure that's checked to on. When it's green like that, it's on. When it's grayed out, that means that feature is off. So depending on what you want, you can do that. You can also turn it on and off right here. Let's go down here to sounds, and I'll show you some of the things you can change here. If your volume at startup is too loud or too quiet, you can change that right here. Very easy to deal with, but you might not have known that was here. And how about volume levels? You have audio, ringtone, phone, voice assist volume, and navigation volume. I have found that I have had to adjust navigation volume in my GMC truck, my 2500, to make that a little bit easier to hear. You will also find audible touch feedback right here. If you want to turn that off or on, obviously this is where you come to do that. If you want to turn your motion sensor on or off, here is the button to do that. This is what you're going to see on the instrument cluster. You can see that it's off right now. It will also give you an indicator if you turn it back on. And you may have seen it earlier in the video, but if you're wondering, how do I adjust the settings for the stereo so I have the best sound quality for my personal preferences, that's going to be located right here under Vehicle and Audio Settings. So you can see everything that you can do right there, depending on what you need to change. As far as the air conditioning goes, if you're wondering, you do still have physical controls right here. Maybe not for everything. You'll still have to go right here to turn on the heated and ventilated seats. And then you can also select right here, and that will bring up this screen where you can go in and make changes as well. But the good news is that it's not in the screen only. You can manage the front and the rear from the driver's position if you need to do that. That just makes things a lot easier. You can turn everything on and off here. But I am grateful for the presence of physical controls. If there happens to be a particular feature that I did not show that you have a question about, tell me down in the comments section and I will make that video for you and then share the link so you can see what it is you need to know about. I'd like to say a special thanks to my friends at Mike Morgan Buick GMC here in Shreveport, Louisiana for loaning me this Yukon so I can tell you all about it. If you would like to know more, check out the link in the description of the video to the Mike Morgan Buick GMC website. I'd also like to thank all of you for being kind enough to give me the opportunity to give you a vision for your next vehicle. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button. That's very helpful to me. And if you would, share this video on your timelines on social media so other people can see it. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel, the Vehicle Visionary YouTube channel, if you haven't done so just yet. That way you don't miss any future videos. And if you would like to learn about additional vehicles you may wish to consider purchasing, check out the video that's on the screen right now, and I will see you there.